Hey everyone, Dana here. I have something really exciting to share with you in this video. If you follow me over on my Instagram or my Twitter, then you might know about it already because I posted about it there. I am hosting a podcast series. The name of the podcast is Germany What Goes, and it's going to be around 18 episodes. Several of the episodes are already out, so you can already start listening to it right away. You can find the podcast wherever you like to listen to podcasts by searching for Germany What Goes, or you can also listen to it on the Alumni Portal Deutschland website, link down in the description box below, of course. The podcast is in a mix of German and English. I'm speaking English, talking to other people who are mostly speaking German, taking you on a podcast trip to several different cities around Germany. Oh, I'm so excited about this podcast, talking about cultural things in Germany, language, German, English. Come on, if you've been watching my videos here on Wanted Adventure for any kind of time, then I think you know by now that I'm really excited by these things. And yeah, so doing this podcast is right up my alley, and I really hope that if you like my Wanted Adventure videos, I hope you will also enjoy listening to this podcast and learning some things about some different cities in Germany that you probably didn't know before. So whether you're from Germany or not from Germany, listening to this podcast, you might learn. I've lived in Germany for 10 years now, and doing this podcast, I will say every episode I learned something new. Sometimes in the episodes, I did know that the thing existed, not to give too much away, but I had no idea how it got there or how it came to be or all of the details that we go into in the podcast. So I'm also learning all kinds of new things about Germany and Munich. We talk about the city of Munich in the podcast, and I'm learning so many new things about Munich as well. So yeah. And now shout out to my American parents. Hi, Mom and Dad, who have been listening to every single podcast episode, even though they are in a mix of German and English. They listen to every single episode and then send me these little emails with feedback on each one. I think they send me these emails to show me support, but also I think they send me them to prove that they have understood the podcast, have understood the episode, because I didn't think that my parents would be able to understand the episodes because there's so many German parts in them. But so far, the feedback that I have gotten from my American parents is that they seem to understand quite a bit of the episodes without understanding the German bits. So if you don't speak German and you do end up checking out the podcast, I would be super curious to hear from you here in the comments. How much do you actually understand just from my bits in English? Germany What Goes is a podcast by the Alumni Portal Deutschland, who I mentioned before about their website, in cooperation with the Goethe Institute, with the concept and production by Kugel und Niere, who I will mention again in a second here. As I said, you can check out the links down in the description box below, or simply search for Germany What Goes to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. New episodes on Mondays and Wednesdays. And if you enjoy listening to the podcast, please feel free to share it with your friends or share it online. You can tag me if you post about it, on Instagram or Twitter. Thank you so much. It really helps getting the word out about the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When the podcast first came out, a couple of my friends were curious about where I had recorded my parts, how that worked. So I thought maybe you might be curious too. Let's go. I have been recording my parts of the podcast episodes in this little room in my apartment. Here are some of my clothes, and up here are some of Mr. German Man's, my husband Stefan, some of his clothes. We've got a sound dampening curtain over here. It's hanging down from the ceiling. And for some of the first episodes, actually, Stefan was in here with me. It's a tiny little room, barely big enough for 2 people, but he was in here sitting on a stool, kind of crouched behind the curtain, wearing a pair of headphones connected to my microphone, listening to what I was saying to make sure that everything sounded fine on our end. Other than that, I've been alone in here. All alone. Well, physically alone. So I have my iPad hanging over here with my script, and over here is my phone, and this is how it works. So me and the reporter I'm talking to in the episode, and producer Anna from Kugel und Niere, who you also hear from in a couple of the episodes, we do a video chat together. So I talk and communicate with them via video chat over my phone here. I press record on my microphone here, and I record myself into my microphone here all alone in this little room, chatting with them on my phone via video chat. And then everything gets all put together later, which I like to call podcast magic. It all comes together later. And I recorded the voiceover for this little clip here in this room with this setup too. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you enjoy the podcast too. I also asked you over on Instagram if you had any questions for me about the recording process or about the podcast in general. Wie lange dauert es, einen Podcast nach der Aufnahme zu bearbeiten bis zum Upload? So after we finish recording the podcast episodes, like in my closet, I email the clips over to Anna at Kugel und Niere, so I don't know how much time goes into the post-production of each episode, so I asked her.
Wir brauchen für so eine Folge von Germany What Goes ungefähr einen Tag. Also ich mache einen Rohschnitt von dieser Folge nach der Aufnahme, schicke diesen Rohschnitt dann an einen Audioproducer, der Musik drunter legt und das alles schön mischt. Und dann höre ich das alles nochmal ab und gebe ihm Feedback und so. Und das dauert insgesamt dann für uns beide zusammen ungefähr einen Tag. Und dann landet das bei Spotify und Apple Podcasts und auf dem Alumni-Portal. Und dann könnt ihr es hören.
What topics are you planning to cover in the next episodes? Okay, so I'm not sure when this video is going to come out yet, but we've talked about things like the Alte Uting boat on land here in Munich, Plattdeutsch in Hamburg, the delicious Franzbrötchen. That episode will actually be coming out. Well, I don't know when this video is coming out, but coming out soon. It'll be coming out on Wednesday, December 23rd. And on that evening, I'm planning to do a Twitter chat. So if you're not following me on Twitter yet, you can check me out at Wanted Adventure. We're definitely going to talk about Franzbrötchen in that Twitter chat. So it'll be at 6 p.m. on Twitter on Wednesday, the 23rd, 2020. So if you'd like to take part in that, you can join me over on Twitter. But yeah, we also recorded an episode about the Hall of Fame in Dresden, the Bundesbühnchen in Bonn, Wasserhäuschen in Frankfurt, and lots of other things. Going along with that, another question that I got was, loved the 2 episodes. I'm looking forward to more of the series. Thank you. Will Leipzig be one of the 18 cities? Okay, so not every episode is in a different city. There are 6 cities that we are visiting in the podcast: Hamburg, Berlin, Bonn, Frankfurt, Dresden, and Munich. So my question for you is, have you ever been to any of those cities? Hamburg, Berlin, Bonn, Frankfurt, Dresden, or Munich? And do you prefer to listen to podcasts while doing something else, or just while chilling on the sofa and listening to them? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. For more content from me, you can follow me over on my Twitter and also my Instagram at Wanted Adventure. I usually do my Instagram stories in German, and I usually make little English subtitles for them. And a really, really, really big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who help make these videos possible. Thank you so, so, so very, very much for your support. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen.